on to the next edition of the Five Starr Wrestling Review series. This is the YouTube show dedicated to bringing you thoughts on wrestling news, weekend events, and show recaps. If you are checking out the show for the first time and you want to hear more future FSWR content, click that subscribe button so that you can keep up to date with all future FSWR videos. We have 2 weekly uploads, including a Monday edition that focuses on wrestling news reports and weekend recaps. And we also have our Friday edition, where we cover MLW Fusion and NXT TV episodes for the week. And we will also be adding AEW into that mix as well come October. I wanted to start off the review series this week with a update on my current status with MLW. Long story short, I've been at a crossroads with them pretty much since I started watching. I'm really not sure what to make of MLW anymore. The shows aren't bad necessarily, but a lot of the time it feels like not a whole lot happens on these shows. And with one of their hottest acts leaving the company in the not-so-distant future, there really isn't a whole lot that appeals to me with this product. Not to mention, their pay-per-view and TV format is oddly confusing. For weeks, I had been under the impression that their MLW War Chamber show was an actual pay-per-view. But then, as it turns out, it's not. It's just an extension of their subsequent set of TV tapings. Now, apparently they are going to be doing pay-per-views down the road, as a new experiment, I guess. How these shows are going to be run, I'm not sure. Are they going to be charging full pay-per-view price? Are they going to be running them through some kind of streaming service? I really have no idea. All of this is up in the air right now. I can guarantee you this, however. In order to get me to buy an MLW pay-per-view, they're really going to have to go out of their way to stack these cards. I don't want to see them format these shows similar to their TV tapings, wherein they'll announce one or two big matches and then fill out the rest of the card with a bunch of secondary prelim TV matches. I'm not going to pay for that. And if it turns out that their pay-per-view model is going to resemble how they run their current TV shows, I really don't know how much longer I'm going to roll with this MLW experiment. I mean, as much as people rave about how awesome this company is, I certainly have not been impressed with any of their shows. I mean, a couple passable to decent main event TV matches and goofball comedy skits with MJF, it's just not enough to pique my interest for an extended period of time. And the only reason I've been tolerable of the shows is that they only run an hour long. But with AEW coming down the pike, and with NXT UK coming off that really great show from Wales, there's plenty of wrestling content that I can easily substitute for MLW. And I just don't see a lot of growth with this product. It just seems like a continual oscillation of the same stuff every week, and it just gets boring after a while. I'll give it a while longer. You see how they build up to this pay-per-view they're doing in November, but if they don't start turning things around soon, I might be tapping out with Fusion. Alright, MLW Fusion episode 74. We open with Conan arriving in the parking lot, and the camera guy asks what kind of information he's been concealing, and in what can only be described as a combination of hideous acting and unintentional comedy, 3 masked dudes jump Conan, and this cameraman is so gravely concerned about this attack that he continues to film the beatdown. And his plea for help consisted of something along the lines of, "Oh God, someone, please help." Actually, Looking back at it, I believe I had more enthusiasm than this cameraman did. And by the way, for the record, apparently it took Selena De La Renta over a full month to simply plot out an attack on Konnan just to get her phone back. So there's your payoff, apparently. Bad guys jump Konnan, they pin him down on the ground, and Selena just takes the phone back. That's all it took. What a dumb storyline. Jordan Oliver versus Gringo Loco. Jordan had a promo that aired before the match. I have no idea what he said, other than the fact that he sounded no older than 15. Although I did catch the ending, wherein he concludes the promo by saying, and I quote here, "I'm young, I'm dumb, and I'm out for blood." So they have the match. Jordan gets the heat early on. They pump in a bunch of artificial boos to make it seem like the crowd is reacting to anything. But you can visually and audibly tell that everyone is just sitting on their hands, not really paying attention. We have a great only an MLW moment here. I can only presume that they taped this match during their previous set of tapings, because while the match is going on, you clearly see that Jim Cornette is sitting at the commentary booth calling the action, and meanwhile they are dubbing Tony Schiavone's commentary over top of it. Way to go, guys. Anyway, like I said, they do the match. Crowd's not really into it. Eventually, Jordan takes the ref. Myron grabs a hold of Gringo, gives him a chair shot to the head, unprotected, by the way, and then Jordan rolls him up and steals the pin. The whole injustice thing, like, I don't want to begrudge Reed and Oliver, but they are rail-thin dudes. They look no older than 16 years old. They have absolutely no body definition, and their ring gear consists of orange prison pants. The whole thing just screams low-rent indie to me. A low-key promo talks about the War Chamber match, basically says that regardless of whether or not Tom Ross and Marshall can trust him, he is their only option right now as a fourth partner. And they're doing everything to hint at the idea that Low-Key is turning heel in the cage next week, which probably means he's not. At least not right away. Richard Holliday versus Brian Pillman Jr. Match was fine. Pillman ran wild early on. Holliday cut him off and worked him over for a while. Pillman made a big comeback at the end. Holliday tried to bring in a chair, but the ref grabbed it. And then Pillman did the old Eddie Guerrero spot where he tossed the trophy to Holliday and took a back bump to make it look like Holliday hit him in the head with it. So the ref snatched that. Pillman gave Holliday a low blow, followed by a neck breaker for the 3. It was okay. I will say that watching Pillman Jr. wrestle is a lot better than watching him cut boring monologue promos. Mance Warner did a promo on Jimmy Havoc, said he had a lot of time to think while he was locked up in prison, and he constructed a plan to destroy Havoc. And what does his plan consist of? Apparently to F Havoc up piece by piece. A clever strategy from Warner here. Tom Lawler did a promo talking about the War Chamber match. Not a whole lot to say there. Probably a second take of that promo would have done him well because there was a lot of awkward pausing that was going on there. And in the main event, Alex Hammerstone versus Go Shiozaki. I will say this. If every MLW match was similar to how this match was worked, I think I would like this show a whole hell of a lot more than I do right now. I thought it was a fun little match. Both guys worked a hard-hitting Japanese-style match. They went back and forth, kicked out of each other's moves. The crowd was getting into it. And then eventually Hammerstone got the win with the Nightmare Pendulum. We did have a rather senile moment from Tony Schiavone in this match, including his confusion as to what the difference was between a sharpshooter and a figure four submission. But, yeah, good match. I wish MLW did more stuff like this because their product would be better off for it. NXT, September 11th, 2019. They begin the show with a car pulling up to the building, and out walks Rhea Ripley, already dressed in her ring gear. And there's a level of quirkiness that goes along with them filming a skit like this. All I can say is that they did their best to make Rhea look like a superstar here. And then, unfortunately, she had her match with Shayna later on the program, and all of those superstar qualities completely vanished. Damien Priest versus Boa. Apparently, the gimmick now with the majority of the breakout tournament performers is they are all job fodder. And the only exceptions to this rule are Jordan Miles and Cameron Grimes. I don't get it either. Anyway, this was every cut and paste NXT match you have ever seen. Two dudes have a short match that no one cares about. One guy wins, one guy loses, and there's a very moderate applause for the finish. Damien Priest is... how do I put this? He's a very fine worker. He does fine stuff. He usually has fine matches. But that's all he is right now. He's fine. But other than that, he's got nothing going on right now. He has no storylines, no defining moments. He has no definitive character that I can think of. He's just a guy squashing dudes on TV right now. At some point, they're going to have to give this guy something to work with, because as fun as these squash matches can be, in this era of wrestling, they get old really fast. We had a Johnny Gargano promo in the ring, comes out to a thunderous ovation. We had chants of Johnny wrestling. Well, actually, more accurately speaking, we had 99% of the people chanting Johnny wrestling, and then one single fan somewhere in the arena letting out a long stream of boo chants. So Johnny thanks the fans for their support, says he's read the reports of where Johnny's future lies, says he's seen a lot of people come and go in NXT, and while they've all got to make their choice, Johnny has made his as well, which I found strange because I actually don't recall a single time where a talent was permitted to choose whether or not he or she was allowed to stay in NXT or move to the main roster. Pretty sure that's Vince's call, but nonetheless, he's about to say what his decision is when who should come out but Shane Thorne. And he cut what I can only best describe as a dry promo. Essentially says that Johnny's wasting everyone's time, NXT will be fine without him, and that he should take his bow and take a walk. And Johnny's about to leave the ring, but he says he's not going anywhere, turns back and super kicks Thorne in the face, and I can only hope and pray that this was the payoff to the Gargano-Thorne feud, and that this does not lead to a match between the two in the coming weeks, although I'm sure I'm giving my hopes up too much there. I don't know, there's something overly comedic about this whole idea. It's like, I can buy into the fact that Gargano absolutely loves NXT, and he's like black and gold for life. Then I think it's like, you would rather stay in NXT and feud with Shane Thorne than wrestle guys on the main roster who you have not had matches with yet? I don't know. I guess that shows his commitment to the NXT brand, that he would rather wrestle Shane Thorne than wrestle somebody on the main roster. We have a video package with Forgotten Sons, apparently to remind us that they still exist, because they've been forgotten about. What a gimmick. Pete Dunne versus Angel Garza. Let me get my criticism out of the way first. Had the character roles been reversed in this match, and you have Garza work as the babyface and Dunne work as the heel, this probably would have come off a lot better than it did. You've got a young, clean-cut, handsome guy with a great physique versus a dirty, ugly-looking dude with a bad haircut. And for some particular reason, the ugly dude with the bad haircut is the guy that I'm supposed to cheer for, and the handsome dude with the great physique is the guy I'm supposed to hate. Bad character continuity there. They had a perfectly acceptable match. Wrestling was fine. Crowd didn't care one iota. But nothing they did looked bad or anything. It was just another enhancement match to put a guy over, and that's basically it. I wish I had more to say about it, but I really don't. I sure hope they've got bigger plans than what they have going on right now for their USA tapings, because right now it's not looking too promising. Street Profits cut a promo in Central Park of New York. They said a bunch of stuff. The only thing that I took note of here was that in the middle of the promo, Dawkins explains to Ford that things have not been the same since they lost their tag titles. It's been 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. They said they had business to attend to. They asked for directions to Madison Square Garden, and then they struggled to climb down from the rock they were standing on. Raul Mendoza versus Cameron Grimes. I think I have a new slot for the wrestling bingo game. 2 dudes do some stuff. That's exactly what this match was. Mendoza and Grimes do stuff in a match for a while. They're doing holds. They're lying on the mat forever. They pick up the action a little bit toward the end, and then finally Grimes won with a double foot stomp. That is literally all I wrote. I have nothing else to say here. I also have no idea what Grimes' gimmick is now. He's got a goofy top hat, but aside from that, he looks no different than he did when he was wrestling on the indie scene. He's pale, his physique is awful, he's got the most generic ring gear you could come up with, and now he can't even do what made him so great in PWG, that being all the cool athletic crap that he was capable of pulling off. He is now just a dude out there doing rest holds. What an amazing character. We had Candice LeRae arguing with William Regal about him putting Io Shirai in a championship match. You know, because Candice is a whiny babyface now. And Regal responds to this whiny complaint by rewarding Candice with a championship opportunity. And he also informs us that if Rhea beats Shayna in the main event, then he might consider adding her to the match as well to make it a 5-way. And, well, spoiler alert, everyone. Rhea did not win in the main event. And to be honest, as contrived as this whole skit was, that wasn't even the weirdest part. Because right before Candice leaves, she tells Regal that as long as she gets a chance to get her hands on Io, Regal can put whoever he wants in that match. So in other words, Candice is admitting here that she could care less about the title and that she would rather just wrestle Io one-on-one. What a stupid babyface. And in the main event, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler in a match that I am still not sure whether or not was for the Women's Championship. Does anyone have a clue if the title was on the line here or not? Because I still have no idea. So, let me try to rationalize this for a minute. Regal explains in the previous skit that if Rhea beats Shayna here, then he will add her to the 4-way number 1 contenders match. So, they work the match. Rhea makes this big fiery comeback at the end. Jessamine and Marina hit the ring to cause a distraction. They eventually bring a chair into the ring, which is not a disqualification, and I guess for no other reason that I can conclude, other than the fact that Rhea is the dumbest babyface on the planet, she takes the chair and instead of tossing it outside the ring so that she could win the match and earn herself a championship opportunity, she uses the chair and smashes it over Shayna's back for the DQ. Why would you do that? This was Impact level stupid. I could not believe that this was the finish they came up with for this match. Mind-boggling. Now, I can only presume that Rhea will find herself a part of this number one contenders match anyway, but the way that they set this up was... There aren't even enough words in the dictionary to describe my displeasure towards this. It was incredibly stupid. With that all being said, we did end the show on a high note. The Undisputed Era cut a promo on Roderick Strong's match with Velveteen Dream for the North American title next week. And while Cole's promo was awesome here, Roddy's promo was like 800 times better, simply for stating the following quote. Velveteen wanted me to get his attention. Well, I got his attention when I lit his couch on fire. I hated that couch, and I hate you too, Dream. Greatest promo of 2019. This almost made up for the entire show this week. That one line. Anyway, that was NXT for the week. That was their last show under the old regime. Not a great way to cap off the era, but we will see how things go for them on the USA. I believe they are airing the first hour live, and then the second hour will be hosted on the network, at least until they finish airing all the last series of the Suits episodes. After that, it's both hours on the USA head-to-head with AEW. And like I said, I hope they have a better game plan for what they've been delivering lately, because 2 hours of enhancement matches, I think I'd rather watch AEW. With that all said, everyone, that'll do it for this review series episode. If you liked what you saw or heard, click that subscribe button. Give this video a good rating if you don't mind. And leave some of your feedback down below on anything that's on your mind regarding MLW and or NXT for this week. Take care, everyone, and I will see you all on Monday.